Cool, Jordan. Well, welcome to the Non-Stuffy Attorney podcast.
I wish every attorney was non-stuffy, but instead we have to highlight on a podcast. So, I'm honored to one by one change the narrative.
Well, you are like the epitome of the non-stuffy attorney.
Thank you.
Yeah, it
I,
is a compliment.
I don't understand. I don't understand the amount of people that don't think it is. Like, it is amazing to me how many people want to wear the quote unquote uniform of a lawyer, and then nobody wants to talk to you or hang out with you or think about you when they're sending business or spend time with you or whatever.
Yeah. I'll tell you how we came up with the brand, but tell me because you promote it pretty heavily that you're chill, laid back, all that fun stuff.
This
Right.
This is
Right.
my normal getup. I wore
Yeah,
a
so how
nicer Hawaiian shirt today, just
Yeah, I'm in a t-shirt, right? So tell me how that transpired for you.
sure. Step one, I was fucking miserable wearing the same suit and tie and making it feel like a really weak person was choking me all day long. And so, like, when it came time to network or talk to clients or do anything, like, I was uncomfortable, not with that part of it, just like cramming myself into a full suit and having the French cuffs and the split collar and the whatever else we do. Like, it wasn't me. And so I was like, hey, what is me? And I'll be honest, Hawaiian shirt was not me immediately, but I was definitely like blue polo, which was and is firm colors, and shorts and flip flops as often as possible. And then like that slowly moved into the Hawaiian feel to get a little bit more like laid back with everything. And then like when I went to networking events, I was the only lawyer that the non-lawyers would walk up to because I'm not standing there in a suit with my, stiff straight back and yada 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 and talking down to people and whatever else that we do without hopefully without thinking about it. And so I was like, well, as a PI lawyer who's trying to connect with random people, don't I want them to talk to me?
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Like all around it makes sense. So you were kind of just like fuck this. Um, I don't want to be the yeah, I don't want to wear this shit and I want to be relatable and present, and have people want to interact with me.
So yes, and the last time I saw the numbers, there were about 1.2 million lawyers across about 400,000 firms. So you
Yep.
sort of think that's 3 to 1, but then you figure like Morgan's got over 1,000 lawyers. There's a bunch of big firms. There's a bunch of in-house attorneys. So like the average firm is one attorney, maybe two. So then you look at Clio Trends, which like the average solo just passed $60,000 a year, while the average lawyer makes like, I don't know, 110, 120. So it's like, why the hell am I making half as much money as I could to dress in the way that I'm miserable when I can control all of this? Like, it's my business. I can do whatever I want. And if I fail, at least I'll fail my way, And I didn't, or I haven't. So,
Yeah. When did you start up your firm?
2015. So did my 3 years as a prosecutor and then opened up originally as a criminal defense firm and then transitioned to PI as I was able to take a breath and think about what I wanted to do intentionally with my firm. And again, like part of that was being not stuffy, being laid back, being approachable, being genuine and authentic. And so we just like leaned into all of it in all of our marketing and all of our messaging and how we handled stuff and what we prioritized. And there's plenty of referral sources who are like, hey, have a client who I can't send you. And I'm like, great. You know me well enough to know like I don't want the person that wants their crazy attorney aggravated, cranked up to 11 in a nice custom suit. Like send them somewhere else because you're thinking of
Right.
me for the person that wants the Hawaiian shirt wearing one. So
Yeah. Yeah. So we started in May of 2020, right right after COVID.
great time. Yeah.
Now we had just moved from California. We hardly knew anyone here. We're in Clearwater, and so yeah, the whole intention. We had moved in July of 2019. My wife took the started studying for the bar in November, and then the day that she took the bar exam was like March 13th, I think. we got on a plane to go out to California to visit friends, right? We're going to be out there for 10 days. There was 5 people on the plane. And so then right then it was like, holy shit, this stuff
Oh
is
my gosh.
this is happening. So
Yeah.
and the whole plan was for her to open up her own firm, right? She had been an in-house corporate attorney out in California for many years, so was going to do business law. And it was kind of like COVID, there was no backing out of it, right? Because people weren't hiring, right? Like even if she wanted to go join a firm, which she had applied to some places, and yeah, it was just all awful.
Just
Anyway,
there's a kind dog behind you, right? You're not being stalked by a wolf or something.
yeah, that's a golden retriever. We got a couple of them in here.
There we
We
go.
got 2
Okay.
of them. One's quiet as a church mouse. The other one barks at his shadow. So yeah, it's a pain in the ass with the barking, but um, we kind of keep him at bay a little bit. Everyone loves him here. Um,
Yeah.
fits in with the Non-Stuffy brand. Um,
Exactly.
exactly, right? So yeah, we opened in May of 2020. I was working a sales job, and she started out of the house. And I've got quite a bit of marketing and sales and administrative background. So I was like, okay, a lot of the marketing training I got was you do surveys and find out what people like and what they dislike. I planned to do that in person, but I wasn't able to, obviously, because of COVID. So I went and read close to 1,000, if not more, Google reviews, 5-star reviews and 1-star reviews is what I read of attorneys. And there's 3 things that they brought up. One was that the attorney was knowledgeable, they were competent, right? They knew what the hell they were doing. That was one thing. Another thing was communication. They were fast at communicating. They answered the phones, they returned phone calls, all that fun stuff. And then lastly was that they were relatable, they were down to earth, they were just like them. So kind of just dumb luck came up with non-stuffy attorneys.
There we
Um,
go.
yeah, yeah, and
Do
we
you know John Strohmeyer?
no.
Okay, I got to introduce you all. He took his own reviews and made a word map with them and found very similar results of like the words that showed up more commonly and everything. So it'll be a very easy intro when we're done here.
Yeah, definitely. I like to get introduced. But yeah, so with running the business, it's like by doing that survey, we knew, okay, we better be fast with our communication. We better take phone calls, return phone calls quickly, respond quickly, fast communication, right? And knowledgeable, like, okay, the attorney's competent. We just got to make sure we deliver good work, right? But yeah, then they want us to be relatable. They want us to be just like them. And so honestly, the suit and the tie and all that stuffiness is not what the overwhelming majority of clients want.
I agree, 1,000%.
Yeah.
And I don't want the one, and for the ones who do want that, I don't want them as clients. So like it's a two-way street,
Yeah.
but it's the street that I want to walk on.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's been we've got I'm sure you can attest just from what you promote, right? But we've gotten just an incredible amount of business by promoting that. I mean, it's all over our marketing materials and website and all that shit. But we constantly getting calls like I'm calling you because you're the non-stuffy attorney. Yeah, it's been fantastic. Um, so you've got your hands in several things, right? You're doing like coaching and looks like you froze on me. You're back.
Am I back?
Yeah. All right. Uh,
Testing, testing.
I can hear you.
think I cut out there.
Yeah, your video's a little choppy. I can hear you.
Your video is not choppy for me, so it's
No.
got to be my end. Which I'm in Orlando, so pretty close. It's like 70 degrees, no wind. Don't know why
No
Spectrum was
reason.
like, let's go down in the middle of this podcast.
What did you hear me say last?
I have my hand in a lot of things, coaching, and then
Yeah. So you're involved in a bunch of stuff. The law firm and coaching and speaking and all that. So tell me a little bit about those avenues that you got going on.
yeah, I mean, so look, they say the easiest thing is speaking to yourself 3 to 5 years ago. And so now I'm probably speaking to myself 5 to 7 years ago. But like, I want more people to create their version of the non-stuffy attorney, create their version of a great life, create their version of happiness. And like, there are plenty of attorneys who are egotistical assholes. Totally. I get that. Most of the people that I talk to are in their position because they have been too selfless. They need to be more selfish. They have never put themselves first. And so they end up saying yes to every case, even if they shouldn't. They end up putting themselves last in terms of what work they do. They end up not hiring to support their own life and their own time. They hire whatever they think they need. And then they end up realizing they've given themselves a job that they hate. And so I want them to like flip that around and really create the life that supported by the business based upon how much they work, what work they do, what the marketing messaging looks like, all those things.
Yeah. That's awesome. And how long you been doing the coaching?
It's been about a year and a half now. I had a marketing company for lawyers in between, and then my business partner on that bought me out, and I was like, well, what is everybody? It's funny. When we had the marketing company, every one of my clients said they needed coaching. Now that I do coaching, all my clients say they need more cases.
You're back.
Did I lose audio? Like
You
my
lost everything.
everything? Weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, man.
Hey, no, it happens, whatever. It's the
I've only been on 5 other meetings before this with no internet issues. It's of course like this one that ends up being the problem.
So you were saying that the coaching clients wanted marketing, or the marketing clients wanted coaching, and now it's switched to coaching clients want marketing.
Or at least more cases. And so the beauty of it is like from the coaching standpoint, at least I am helping them frame what more of the right cases looks like. So then we can find the right marketing strategy, find the right marketing company, find the right, whatever the solution is. Cause like, Lord knows, so I came to Orlando to go to UCF. I stayed here for Barry. I was a prosecutor here. So when I opened in 2015, I generated probably like $400,000 in business from just knowing people for, 9 or 10 years in the area, and then was like, I'll hire companies who will market for me. But I didn't tell them what I wanted, and I didn't have a sales process to support what they sent. And so now, like, I can help other people prevent that issue of quote unquote, I want more, and be more specific about what more is, so that you end up with more of the right things instead of I got, more problems, more debt, more headaches, because I originally was not intentional about any of this stuff.
Yeah, you really need to be. I learned that the hard way. You pump up the marketing, the phone starts ringing like crazy. You got one person answering the phone. You got all these missed calls. Like, shit, you can burn through some money real quick. Is that what you're kind of referring to?
Yeah, I mean, so twofold. One, the phone rings with people that don't have the problem that you want to solve. And two, the phone never rings or doesn't ring enough or rings too much. Like both, all those things are problems. Like it amazes me. So, obviously, like us both being in Florida, there's a ton of like the Dennis Hernandez and the Morgan ads and stuff like that. So you'll always see like this new firm will do like 10 billboards, pop them up for a couple months, and then like you'll never hear from them again. And I always wonder,
Yeah.
like, did they get nothing from it, or did they get so much from it and then they couldn't call people back and they couldn't address the needs, that was just as much of a problem? And then when you're dropping $35,000 a month on 1/7 of a digital billboard on I-4, that's a lot of money for you.
Is that what they run? They run that?
Depends upon the exact location, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty wild.
Damn. Have you ever run them?
I have not, because I've never wanted the billboard client.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I thought about it for branding purposes, like local branding, but I don't know. I don't know how effective it is. You're back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Jeez. You're talking about billboards for branding purposes.
Yeah. Yeah. I've thought about doing them for branding purposes, but just never have. And then
All right, now I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
yeah. Yeah. I
Okay,
can
now
hear
you're
you.
back. Dude, it's the headphones, it's the camera, it's the computer. It's like
Yeah.
a Tech Monday, but it's
I
Thursday.
know. Jesus. My microphone wasn't working on my nice microphone. So now I got my,
Yeah.
regular calling microphone going. Yeah. We're a mess today, both of us. Well, we'll cut it up. We'll cut up the podcast.
You sound great on my end,
Oh,
so
good.
it's all me.
Yeah, man, I thought about doing billboards for branding. And a woman just sent me a quote the other day, just kind of out of the blue. I think I talked to her like a month, like 9 months ago. It was going to be like, I want to say like $3,000 a month for a year commitment or something. And it was like kind of in a shitty location. And it's like, nah, I don't think so.
But like, look, this is the thing. What is Morgan's brand? Right? It is we are gigantic. What
Yep.
is, and then so many of the other firms, it's like, what's their brand? We get big verdicts. Like there's no real differentiating thing there. The more niche that you go, the less the billboards are important, because like you're going to get people see non-stuffy attorney billboards and say no. Like nobody's looking at a Morgan billboard and like, oh, I don't like, I don't like the blue and the yellow and like there's so much research behind being okay with everybody and mass showing up. Whereas like for somebody like you or I, it'd be so much cooler and so much cheaper to do like Facebook ads to a very specific target, location wise, psychographics, demographics, Spotify, Hulu, and then just like have somebody who lives their normal day seeing you on 4 different platforms because you've niched to their interest.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Yeah. Yeah. So what have been the successful marketing avenues for you? Most successful?
Ooh, what do you mean? Let me change. I hear your question. Let me lawyer your question to the question that I want, right? So
Yeah.
most fun is always going to be networking. Like I get to go play top golf and eat delicious lunches with awesome other attorneys and chiropractors and other people in the community. Like that's always going to be the most fun. Most impactful, I would say, is probably marketing to already existing clients. For every 3 to 4 cases, a client comes back for another accident or sends a family member or friends. And like it's super cheap because I already have their info. I can send them emails for free. I can invite them to a party that's going to happen whether they show up or not. Like it's such low hanging fruit from somebody who already knows our shtick. And so, like, who better to refer somebody else or come back, no questions asked, than somebody who's already been through the whole process or is in the middle of the process with us? And I think that's probably the one that I see so many firms just completely skimping on. They're paying thousands to get somebody in the door and trying to save every dime to keep them happy while they're in the door already.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you do? How do you market to your existing clients? You said parties. Like,
Yeah.
okay, tell
Okay.
me about that.
So first of all, my view on marketing is anything that you do to get more business. So to me, customer service is marketing. So in our, in our emails of welcome to the firm, we try to touch on it in such a nice way. Like, hey, we have grown this firm off of referrals from great people like you. You've probably talked to somebody who got you to us, even if they didn't. But I'm getting them like psychologically into the standpoint of like, we like people sharing our praises. We highlight, our 150, 160 reviews. Like we really go into that stuff to get that going throughout just like the welcome to the firm, onboarding, case updates. So I've got this whole thing in Lawmatics built out, not just sales process, not just onboarding, not just pre-suit, and even during litigation for us to stay in front of them. They can book meetings with the staff members assigned to their case. They can book meetings with the attorney, so they don't have to reach out to us for updates. So that's like the beginning of it. We strive, in one of our core values is people having the best client experience they've ever had. And then afterwards, we check in on, like, the case is over, they're not done with us. So we're going to stay in touch with them. And a lot of these emails are automated. So, hey, it's been 30 days, it's been 6 months, it's been a year. It's when's your car insurance up for renewal? You didn't have coverage. You probably want it if, God forbid, this happens to you again. Like, that impacted your case. Here's some updates. Here's some heads up from that. And then we do a Cinco de Mayo party, which is, it's my birthday. On Cinco de Mayo, we've got some other events that we'll do geared towards clients. We'll rent out a movie theater and let them bring a friend to a summer movie. And a lot of our stuff is family focused. A lot of our clients are parents. I've got a 7-year-old. So like the Cinco de Mayo party, we had like inflatable axe throwing there. If we do a movie, it's a superhero movie or a, kids movie for people to bring the family during the summer. So like we really hit those niches over and over again. And it works and it's fun. And I like my clients, the majority of them.
Yeah. God, that's something that we need to get better on is, continuously following up with past clients. Yeah, that's kind of a weak point of ours. Right now, go
And
ahead.
we're in Florida. Well, so like if you were not in Florida, I think there'd be a really funny like non-stuffy. Like we're sending you stuff for referring people to non-stuffy, but obviously the Florida bar would say that's giving somebody something of value for sending a case.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no, but
Are you
most
able
other
to,
states would say you could send something, the ABA rule.
are you able to send anything?
The Florida bar rule says you cannot send anybody anything of value for the purpose of referring a case. So like I have friends who send me bottles of alcohol for referring them and I send it back and I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want to be legally responsible for your case. I don't have malpractice insurance for it. Like, so I send people thank you cards and I'm like, please, dear God, I don't want the Florida bar to think that my signature is worth something. Like I am, I paid for the card. I'm paying for the stamp. I'm losing money on it. Like, please,
Well,
don't tell me that.
you're becoming famous, so that signature might be worth something in a few, in the future.
No, please, no. That's the last thing I want. Like, get the Florida bar being like, you're selling your signature online and in this, I don't know, whatever. Everybody's got like the fancy signature logo, right? Like you've got this logo, it's worth $5. You can't send people a signed thank you card for them
So
sending you
silly.
stuff.
It's so silly. It's so silly. There's a lot of suppressive rules out there. Um, and it's probably a lot of these laws and rules are probably meant to solve one problem of one isolated incident, and then it just gets broadly regulated, and now you got, yeah, yeah. Um, so I'm going to back up with the emails that you send to your existing clients or um, clients that have completed matters. Are they on like a funnel, like a drip campaign, something along those lines?
Like after the case is over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we have so I've got a bunch of campaigns set up in Lawmatics. And so like what open enrollment becomes a big thing. We've got a series of clients who, like, it's Florida. There was $10,000 on the other policy for them. They had no We're like, hey, now's a great time for you to increase your health insurance and use the $4,000 we put in your pocket towards getting the surgery that, like, you can't get the $250,000 surgery on a 10,000 policy. So having stuff like that, having it's been 6 months since your case is over. is there anything else you need? We also know other lawyers. We also know realtors. We also, we've got some great food vendors that do a discount for our clients, or the ones that sponsored or they brought food to the Cinco de Mayo party. Like they're hosting another event. So really trying to like build a community around it so that
Yeah.
people stay in touch. And not everybody's interested by any means, but the ones who are then become referral sources and become repeat business, and start singing our praises on Facebook groups or whatever organizations they're in. And it just really helps push our name in a way that is enjoyable and right, and they've
100%.
been through it as a client, so they know what to tell somebody else to expect, because we want to do the same great service for everybody.
Yeah, 100%. Um, we've we've pretty much learned that the more communication that you put out, right, whether it's email and like we're talking about here, networking events, phone calls placed, ads run, those are all outbound forms of communication. The more that we do, the more that comes in, the more inflow we get. So we've really had that as a maxim um, in our, in our sales and marketing line. Uh, these emails that you send out, are they already pre-drafted, or are you occasionally, or are they like a mixture of both, where it's like, hey, we're going to have this event in a month, let's blast it out, or is it, or do you have it set up like, hey, every 6 months they're going to get this email?
Yes, both. And like okay, so here's the thing for me. Automation is not an excuse to cut corners. So like all the emails you're talking about, they are set up, they're blasted, whatever. We then also have tasks to call them and check in, but now we have the time to do that and have that conversation and actually check in on their live and see what's going on. And we've got notes in the system to follow up about kid. We have a number of clients whose kids are in law school or going to law school. So we have a note, we check in, hey, how are they doing? Are they looking for a summer internship? We have a couple firms that are looking. We're looking for a summer intern. Like just really building those relationships, because I'm not individually sending 200 emails
Yep.
about a party. So, I love automation to allow me to be more human.
Yeah. Yeah, that's smart. And you have tasks set up to call them too at certain intervals after they finish?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
And asking for a review and checking in on them. And,
Yep.
all the notes are saved from all the other conversations. And it just becomes a really easy way to maintain our true brand and not just treat them like a file and be done with them when the file's closed.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, we are very, very heavy on follow up with prospective clients. Um, very, very heavy. Like we have 3 intake staff, and um, then we have non-attorney salespeople, um, and they have to call. They have to make like 225 outbound calls a week, but we're not really focused on the client who has completed their matter. And yeah, you're making me see that I need to get that. I need to get that
Hey,
handled.
what better podcast than one that gives you a bunch of tasks for other work to do?
Yeah. Who do you have doing that kind of follow up? What's your process look like?
So ultimate lawyer answer, right? It depends. In essence, like we want to leverage who they have the best connection with. So baseline, like my intake person who came to us through the UCF internship program, but had worked at one of the Four Seasons super fancy hotel before, like really good people skills. So she, for the most part, she's staying with people through. If they happen to have a really good relationship with the paralegal on their case or a case manager, we'll swap who do the follow-ups. And then like for the cases that got close enough to trial that my wife, the attorney, was really involved with them, like then we'll swap it to her. And so really like our goal is to get them in contact with the person that they had the most contact with and the best relationship with, for a better impact, but also for a better experience from them. Like if they want a firm where they're going to get a bunch of different people calling them, they're not calling me. If they want a firm where Leonette or Andrew is answering the phone and Heather or Leonette's talking to them on the case, or like if that's what my clients want, so why not keep that through the whole way? I do like on some of the larger firms taking the intake people and making them more that like client concierge, and having them check in during and having them check in after, and then really like assigning, a third across the list. That might make more sense for y'all's size or
Yeah.
setup.
Yeah. I have to figure it out because right now they are just like they're just swamped to the gills. It's like balls to the wall, 9 to 5:30 every day for these guys. And I'm like, now I start thinking about adding on. It's like, oh shit. Um,
Yeah, but what's your average client case value?
um, for estate planning, it is around it was 5,400. Probates at 6,800, and then Medicaid is around 12 grand.
Okay, so even if we figured $5,000 on hiring somebody else, if you hired another staff member for 50K a year and you want them to generate another 150, 200, are they going to get 30 to 40 cases by making all these
Right.
calls that are, work that's sitting there?
100%. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yes. You're 100% right. It's funny because we have I'm in charge of HR, right, in our office, and the hiring and all the firing and onboarding and all that fun stuff. Yeah, it's over the last year we grew or we had our revenue growth was 88% last year, and I think our team probably doubled in size last year too. And then we've just made a few new hires. I'll tell you what, man, on hiring somebody, putting the ad out, onboarding them, training, all that shit, it's a lot. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna I'm gonna need to get somebody here pretty soon
Well, and
to
that's
handle
the
that.
beauty of size, right? You can
Uh-huh.
scale all of that stuff. And then the thing that cracks me up is some of these small firms are like, it's so hard to hire one person. And I'm like, great, then hire two people at the same time. Like, what do you mean? I was like, you're
Yes.
going to put them through the same thing. Like, just hire a legal assistant and a paralegal at the same time, train them about the whole thing of the case. And then, 6 months later, the legal assistant becomes the paralegal and you hire another legal assistant and they just, train back down the line. But
Yeah.
it's amazing to me how, walking somebody through a file takes almost the same time as walking two people through the same file, or three people, or four, or having I'm reading High Output Management by Andy Grove, and he's talking about doing these presentations for the 200 new hires at Intel, and a 2 hour presentation. I'm like, yeah, it's if he's going to spend 2 hours of his time as the CEO of the company back, when he was alive, like, might as well do it for 200 people. And
Yeah.
welcome to the new Intel hiring class of whatever month, year, quarter. I don't know how often he did the speeches.
Yeah, I need to I was looking at Scribe. You ever heard of Scribe?
Yes,
Have you ever used it?
I have not.
Okay. Yeah, me neither. Yeah, I'm interested to use it. Just yeah, I have it on my list to do, just to like test it out and see how it works. Just even learning our software. We use Zoho, uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, there's a learning curve to it, right? Even just like doing an intake. Um, so yeah, I was gonna try it out. Hopefully it works well. We'll see. I would love to have it in as one of our SOPs. Okay, this is how you do an intake. You
Right.
know.
And if it doesn't work, like, AI is designed for what you're talking about. So, like,
Yep.
going into a Google Meet and having Gemini take notes and recording it as you walk through it, and then like take those notes, and either they're good enough or pop them into ChatGPT to turn them into the SOP or something, or or Scribe is great on it. Like, that's a very good AI thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna try it out here pretty soon. Hopefully yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I
it's
even
good.
like the like, they've got the Meta glasses that will record for like 3 minutes. I've got firms that, like, they have the glasses and they're just recording them, like, physically mailing. This is how you fill out certified mail. This is where the mail slot is, and like, it's all on the camera as they're walking through it. And now they've got it all recorded.
How interesting. Is that the big goggles? Is that what you're talking about?
They look like I think they're Ray-Bans. They just have like a
Oh,
little tiny
really?
camera in them. Yeah, and they'll do the
I haven't heard
recording.
of that.
Yeah, the Meta, I don't know, Meta sunglasses. They'll come up.
No shit, like Ray-Bans, huh?
I think they're legitimately Ray-Bans. I might be wrong, but they're like it's a real brand. They look exactly the same. They just have like maybe it's two cameras on either side.
Huh. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And can you tell if there's cameras there, or is it pretty discreet?
It would be tough to know that they're like they look like regular sunglasses.
Yeah. I've seen some people like on Instagram where they're like going up to strangers and shit, and I'm like, they got to have like some camera there or something. Maybe that's it.
Oh, could be. Well, I mean, for that standpoint, though, I definitely would think that they're getting signing the rights of the person to be on it, so
Sure.
it may intentionally be more obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Um, so what's your schedule like? I saw something like you work like 3 days a week.
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Wednesdays I leave at 2. Well, like 1:30 to go get my kid from school at 2.
That's cool.
It's
Um,
awesome.
so Thursday and Friday, you're not working at all.
Tuesdays and Fridays. Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
oh, so you
so
work
to be
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah. So
Okay.
to be fair, Tuesdays like I'll go to the gym sometimes with a referral source or a friend. I'll get a massage. I'll go to lunch and play top golf with people. So I guess technically, or according to the IRS, we are networking Tuesday lunch through afternoon. But sounds so terrible what I have to put up with. But yeah, it allows me to focus. I can show up 100% when I need to be, and when there are like if there's a speaking engagement on a Tuesday or a Friday that I want to take, then great, I can bump something from some other slot. I have the flexibility. My issue with people working 40 hours means you really work 50, and then you say yes to other things and get it to 55 or 60. Like for me, it's a pretty, I would say it's 20 hours a week, and so like I'll go above that, but I want to know that I can without really impacting anything.
Yeah. What about your staff? What's their schedule like?
So we have unlimited PTO. So in theory, they are there Monday through Friday, either 8 to 5 or 9 to 6. But that's on them. And like the worst question anybody can ask me is like, "Hey, can I go leave to go to my kid's soccer game?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah! What? Yes, go. I want you like be part of the community. Get out, do things. Like this is just a
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
So I want them to be involved in the things that they want to be involved in, so that when they show up, they're showing up correctly here instead of just punching the clock."
I love that. Love that. We have unlimited PTO as well after the first year.
Awesome.
Yeah. 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 I don't want to have to worry about it from management. It's like, look, I want your work to get done. Get, get your work done, right? Make sure shit's done quick. Clients are happy. It's high quality service. Yeah, but just get your work done.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and obviously, like, we've got KPIs. I will say,
Right.
Jordan, pro tip: my favorite KPI, 1 5-star Google review a month for everybody, because I think that balances like speed with correctness, with calling people back, with setting expectations. Like, if you can get 1 Google review a month per staff member, which I don't know if any of us actually do, it's wild growth.
Yeah, we've had a big push for Google reviews ever since we started. Our we have a woman, her post is project manager, so she oversees all the matters basically. Not necessarily from a technical standpoint, but more like, hey, these tasks aren't done, right? Or they're behind. What do we need to do to get them caught up? Stuff like that. But she's got a big customer service role during uh, the matter, and yeah, her metric is one of her KPIs is Google reviews, right? 5-star Google reviews. Um, but yeah, we've accumulated. I think we have about 245, 250
That's awesome.
now. Yeah, and once as you keep getting more and more, you start getting more and more organic calls showing up more in the organic search traffic, and yeah.
Well, to me, a review is a referral from somebody you don't know.
Yep. 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 We get a lot of calls where, hey, I read your reviews, right? I hired you, right? It's like we charge higher than most, right? Our rates are higher intentionally.
Yeah,
And we'll get people who, yeah, they're price shopping or they're, you know, whatever. Um, but they'll read our reviews. They'll see, okay, they're more, but I know that I'm going to get what I want with these guys. I'm going to pay a little bit more, but I'm going to get what I need.
totally agree. It is amazing. And so it's interesting to me how many firms lose clients because they charge too little. Right up, so right off the bat, there's a bell curve on both sides. But I've never talked to anybody who has raised their rates and lost more clients. Like you raise it 20%, you lose 10% of your signups, you still make 10% more with 10% less work, and it's just a wild way to grow.
Yeah, man, I made that It's funny. I don't know, maybe it was 2022. We were charging 6,500 for an estate plan, which is high in our area. A lot of other ones will charge like between 2 grand, well, yeah, 2,500 to 3,500. Sometimes you'll see a 4,000, but we're like a lot higher. Okay. And we had hired a couple, we hired we had a paralegal and maybe another one or a legal assistant. Anyway, I said, you know what? We have the manpower now. Why don't we lower our estate planning price from 6,500 down to 4,500? And we have the manpower now. We'll get more signups, and I'll tell you what, the opposite happened. Well, not the opposite, but we kind of flatlined.
Yeah.
And then when I kind of when we realized it, I I remember it was in November. I said, screw this, we're going back to our old prices. And it was at the end of November, and that December we hit our highest ever revenue month. It was really wild, really wild. Um,
Yeah, I mean, you could lose a third of the signups and make the same amount of money, and then be able to do that much more for them, much faster for them, that much more uniquely for them.
yeah,
It's wild to me.
totally wild. I tell people a lot that I would rather have one $10,000 client than 10 $1,000 clients. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it's interesting. There is kind of a little bit of a curve with with the lower price and higher price. It's kind of from a marketing position. It kind of positions you. So there are people who want to buy the cheapest. These are the people who go to the dollar store and right. They want to buy the cheapest. They buy secondhand stuff and all that, um, which is fine, right? No knock on them. That's what they want. Then there's people who want the best, and right and they will kind of look at price as an indicator of value. Okay, well, okay, Mercedes cost X amount, it's got to be really good. Um, and so I think a lot of people where they don't fit on either side, right, where they're in the middle, they they can get kind of put in no man's land, right, where they kind of fit in with the crowd. So if you have somebody, the way I view it is, if we're middle of the road pricing, and we have a client who's calling and shopping around, if we're middle of the road, right, it's like, are they really going to choose us, right? Because we're in the middle? Probably not. They're probably looking for like one or the other. Um, I'd rather be on the higher end than the dollar store.
Right. Well, and at least between higher and a dollar store, like you have committed to a differentiating factor. For the middle of the road, like now you have to take an extra step to try and convince them why your middle of the road price is the baby bear Goldilocks situation, or why you're the right one in that fat middle.
Yeah.
Hey, if I'm the cheapest in town, then I'll be the idiot willing to go to business the fastest. If I'm the most expensive, then I'm branded right there as being great. Like you have something about you built into that price, and that's what I hate about PI. Like I want to charge my clients more than the statutory amount because I know they're going to get better service, but we can't, so we have to
You're
figure out.
Are you legally not allowed to? It's statutory?
So there's a point at which you can request judicial approval of a higher price point, still capped at the 3340, but not where it staggers down after $1 million. If a judge turns you down for that, you have to self-report to the Florida bar. So it's like, is it worth me building in an extra hearing to price this here to then have the risk of some judge who's never seen this in 30 years because nobody else wants to do it? But yeah, I mean, dude, if I could go and quote 50%, great. I would do it tomorrow, and I would explain like, look, this is the value that you're getting, and I would reinvest, half or 2/3 of that difference in price back to my clients. But with us, limited here, you got people, day one out of law school charging the same price as me on the contingency fee. And so it's the 250 Google reviews, it's the former client messaging, it's what the website looks like, it's how it sounds, it's seeing us in the Hawaiian shirt. Like you really have to figure out those things that attract the right kind of person because you can't use pricing as a differentiating factor to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Do any PIs charge less than that?
Yes. Oh
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
Is is that a small percentage of them that charge less, or is it
Not. There are very few that advertise that they charge less.
right?
I'm sure there are more that would charge less.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you negotiate? Never.
Excuse me, you're hiring me to negotiate the maximum amount of money for you in your pocket. So if you're going to beat me in this negotiation, how do you know that the insurance company's not going to do the same thing?
Touche. If you're willing to give away your own money, what are you going to do with theirs?
So
Yep.
absolutely not. But this is the only time you and I are on the same side of the table because after this, more for you is more for me. So let's get you every dime you deserve with as best of a client experience as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you done any sales training?
So here's the thing. So sort of, I don't think anybody actually trains on what you or I actually sell. All of the sales training I've seen is so much more like long-term, large B2B, like even like Sandler sales training, the amount of meetings to do the sandwich and the submarine and all that stuff, like that's not my client like I've had clients hire us in 7 minutes, they want to just get through this
Yep.
problem. And so like it's really interesting to me the lack of sales training for high ticket but not repeatable digital product, high ticket, like a real professional. And I mean professional as we are a profession. I don't mean professional as in the high ticket sales are unprofessional. But like that just doesn't exist at the same scale as other sales training.
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty lacking, isn't it?
Like I love the Alex Hormozzi closes. There's so many of them, but like my clients are not, a lot of my clients don't position themselves to be closed. They're like, okay, let me think about it. Well, what are you thinking about? Well, I got to talk to my spouse. Okay, let's get him in here. Like you can go through a lot of those things, but like at some point they're like, all right, I'll sign, and then they can fire you tomorrow. Like it's
Yeah.
you reaffirm the trust money, or for us, we're not going to put a lien on a case for 24 hours. Like there isn't that same required level of commitment, and also like I'm not pitching 7 different partners and 14 different divisions at some giant company, so it can be faster. It should be faster.
Right. Right. Yeah, we just hired a non-attorney salesperson. We're working, and we have several non-attorney salespeople in our office, but we just hired one. She's working remotely. She's down in Naples, but she came from family law. She was doing intake and stuff there. And so we had to train her on our practice areas, right? But we're not going to expect her to know everything, right? So we really had to, and she doesn't need to know everything. It's like she needs to know, okay, whether can we take this matter or not? She's not giving legal advice, right? She
Right.
can't give legal, right? Um, so yeah, we've over the last few weeks we've really honed in on like sales scripts for these 3 practice areas. And you know, it's not a verbatim script. It's kind of like, okay, you follow this process, ask these things, and she started doing
Yeah, I
consults.
like sales outlines more than
Yes.
sales scripts.
Yeah, I say it's a script. It's funny because I wrote it as a script, but at the very top, right at the very beginning, I say, look, this is not meant to be verbatim. You need to make this your own. This is a guideline. I mean, if they want to take the stuff that I wrote in there verbatim and say it, great. Otherwise, it needs to be their personality. Um, but yeah, she just started doing consults like 2 days ago, and she's already closed 4 sales. It's
Wonderful.
like, fuck, awesome. Yeah, so I'm fucking pumped. I'm pumped. Yeah.
Well, and I think like family law is probably a really good lead in to you all because of the emotionally charged nature of it.
Yeah.
You know, like we're talking about death. You know, we're talking about ripping a family apart. We're talking like these are my clients. Like, yeah, it sucks they got hit and they're in terrible physical pain, but there's not that same like long
Ye-
term drip emotional attachment to it.
yes and no. Okay, so for probate, just have you had any experience with it? Like have you ever practiced in that law area?
Oh, only
Okay.
coaching people on it, not ever doing it.
Okay. What we realize is like the people who are very emotional and have a difficult time, right? The client, maybe 5% of them, very small percentage are emotionally distraught. The majority of them, it's like a money grab.
Uh, well, then
Yeah.
maybe some PI intake people would be great for the probate side. It's like, how do you feel? What answer will help me get the most money? You call a different number, thanks. You know, there's a billboard lawyer that will give you a better answer than I will. I want your honest opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Medicaid though, Medicaid's amazing. I really want to grow that area a lot. We're really helping out people, you know, elderly people who have a nice nest egg, but now they need long-term care and they won't get approved for Medicaid until they spend all their assets. And we're like, fuck that, right?
Yeah, but then you're one Elon Musk tweet away from that not being a thing, right?
Ah, I'm not worried about it. I'm not
Okay,
worried. Well, from what they've said, they're not changing anything, but if it happens, it happens. I can't worry
it's
about it.
true.
Yeah, they said they're not, but we will see. Um, but yeah, that's not our main. Our main practice area is probate right now. I really want Medicaid super profitable, and it's a really good thing, right? Really, really helping out these people. So hope nothing gets fucked up with it.
Me too. I mean, it's designed to help people that need the help more than anybody. Well, maybe more than anybody else. Certainly a lot.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, did you grow up in Orlando?
No, I grew up in Cooper City, South Florida,
Okay. What brought you up here?
UCF. So college, law school, state
Yeah.
attorney's office, and then a wife. Well, girlfriend, now wife,
You meet her
marriage,
in
child.
college?
In court on opposite sides. So,
Oh, that's interesting.
all right,
How
my
long you
dream is we will go on a cruise, and I want to do the like whatever it is, the newlywed game or something like that. And they're like, "How'd you meet?" And just both of us like in court, and just leave it at that, and don't tell anybody we were the lawyers, and don't like just let it go.
Oh, that'd be funny. That'd be funny. Um, how long y'all been together?
Married or together?
Either.
So married, we are 10 and a half years, and then we knew each other for like 2 years before that. We dated for about a year before we got married because we knew it was right.
Yeah, yeah. And you're working under the same roof at the same law firm.
Yes, have been for 8 years, 9 years.
All right. Does that pose
So
any?
that's a whole nother podcast.
Totally. Totally.
The the 3 months where my wife and I wanted to murder each other. So a really interesting question would be if the first year of working together or the first year of having a kid together were the harder years. So we always joke, 10 and a half years and 8.5 really good ones because of those other 2 years. And I don't know. My answer depends upon the day of which one was harder.
Yeah. Our first 6 months was rocky working together. First 6 months. And then I made a decision. I said, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna go, and I said I was gonna get back into real estate or something. Made all kinds of arrangements to do it. Remember, I got COVID, and while I think our whole family got COVID, there was like 2 weeks where we were pretty sick, and during those 2 weeks, the business blew the fuck up. Like
Ah,
I don't know what
probably
happened.
because, yeah.
Yeah, because I said I was gonna leave, and ever since then, it has been total smooth sailing.
Working with your spouse is awesome when the two of you don't actually have the same job. You can work in the
Yes.
same place, but like, so I went the U route and she went the lawyer route, and that's what really helped us stay together. I gotta go though. I have a 1:30, which we are now past.
No worries, man. No worries. Well, hey, it was great talking to you. Thanks for coming on. And
Yeah, thank you for having me.
yeah, chat again soon.
All right, sounds good.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon.